On November 1st of 2013, the greatest cinematic event of our age took place.
Freebirds, an American computer-animated Thanksgiving-themed film, was released to the public.
This is the movie where they go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
Directed by Jimmy Hayward, this film single-handedly was able to surpass the Titanic, Avatar, Pulp Fiction, Wolf of Wall Street, Citizen Kane, with its cinematic beauty.
With that, let's begin.
We start off with an extremely emotional scene with Owen Wilson's portrayal of the main protagonist turkey, Reggie.
Similar to The Matrix, another classic, rivaled only by the magnificence of Freebirds, Reggie awakes from this fabricated reality and tries to escape this terrible and brutal fate of him being slaughtered by his farmers to be sold at Thanksgiving. And from this, the movie establishes two factions, the sort of working class slash the turkeys and the bourgeoisie or the humans, the farmers. The struggle between these two factions is felt throughout the entirety of the movie.
This is also a technique popularly used by Christopher Nolan called the laundry chair technique. Yeah, we cut back to a bit of a wonderful backstory, filled to the brim with realization. Reggie is angry with the fact that almost every single turkey is dumb. They think that the farmer is their friend, and this is absolutely hilarious in the fact that the farmer is not their friend.
Whoa, now that's something you don't hear every day.
The other turkeys then sacrifice him, leaving him to die. This is pulled out of a smart cinema trick called the sacrifice trick.
All hope seems lost for our hero. He is to meet his fate he's trying to avoid. Just then, in a brilliant bait and switch, it's revealed that the President of the United States of America has come to Reggie's farm to pardon a turkey. And that turkey ends up being Reggie. A truly groundbreaking twist.
They call that one the Mr. Twister Suck My Blister.
By the way, I absolutely love that name. Anyways.
Now, this is an act of false hope. The president chooses a bigger bird. What is actually absurd is that the creators of Freebird, they created this technique from scratch. It's called the birth in reverse. I love that name. This continues on when we see Reggie living his life as a respected turkey.
After a couple of absolutely knee-slapping jokes about divorce, we then twist and realize that the president did choose Reggie. This is a prime example of why Freebirds is such a cinematic masterpiece. People, myself included, could not stop talking about the twist on twist on twist, all inside a twist.
This not only broke Twitter, but the whole entire internet. Anyway, we move on in the narrative to find our character at the lowest morale sets. Through pure luck, he is brought up to the privileged class, enjoying the spoils of wealth. Soon, our hero will need to confront his ethics again.
This always gives me the chills, as it starts an opportunity for the greatest character arc of all time. But you see, we don't necessarily see all of the arc here, because—
Whoa! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! We need to say that for later.
It just gets me so excited. Well, now we get introduced to our second protagonist of the film, Jake, performed by the talented Woody Harrelson.
Here we learn a bit more on Jake's backstory. We learn that he works for the TFF, the Turkey Freedom Front.
Absolute knee slapper. Gets me every time.
Back on track. We now have Jake and Reggie in a struggle to make it into the base. We are met with classic banter between the two. Then Jake brings up the reason for his choice of Reggie.
As it turns out, Jake follows the wishes of the great turkey, this mythical figure that represents just hope and freedom. The idea of the time knob is also here, and it's important, it's very contested, so we'll get back to that later.
We then reach an extremely pivotal point in the story, involving a little something called
time travel! But before that, we have maybe the most influential moment in all of human history. Reggie, confused about what Jake is planning, asks him why they're infiltrating this military base, to which Jake responds with the oh so elegant, "We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu." He not only says this once, but twice! Twice! He turns to the audience and repeats, "That's right, we're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu."
This is the penultimate scene in the movie. In such simple words, they convey what the story is, what conflicts lie ahead for our characters, and so much more. The brilliance of this line cannot be overstated. The audience would not need a second explanation, yet they give it to us anyway.
He not only gives his plans to Reggie, but also gives his plans to the audience themselves, reassuring them that this is, in fact, the movie where they go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. It places the audience in the world as a character interacting with other characters.
Brilliant.
It's a brilliant commentary and deconstruction of the idea of an audience in a fourth wall. And this just shows these guys' balls, since they set all this up, to only immediately throw it away for this absolutely big joke.
It was another twist, resulting in the absolute diarrheaing of Twitter. This time, each of the presidents of the United States stated their own opinion on it. Every president! Till Washington. Although James Buchanan was not really a fan.
I can't stand that guy.
Back on track. We now have Jake and Reggie in a struggle to make it into the base. We are met with classic banter between the two. And I just want to talk about this visual storytelling in this movie, since it's superb. Reggie, the blue turkey, wants to take the blue path in the facility that leads to the exit. On the other hand, Jake wants to take the red path in the facility, which leads to the time machine.
In just one frame, you can grasp the main character conflicts and desires of our two characters. Reggie is the betrayer of his people, wanting to keep the system in place now that he is in the upper class. Jake is the embodiment of the persistent call to adventure. It's the dichotomy between our turkey leads: blind, adventurous bravery and rational cowardice.
These two characters represent the two worlds, the world of the slave and the owner, the world of the system and the world that goes against the system. Both turkeys are flawed due to their character traits, but together they bring out the best in each other. See their eyes. Reggie's are red, and Jake's are blue, like the Tajitu, yes, more commonly known as the yin-yang. There are small elements of each other in them.
The characters make their way to the all-important time machine. And guess what? It's shaped like an egg! That's right, an egg! This is not only a brilliant visual gag, it also serves the story in a wonderful way. The time machine represents the liberation of the turkeys and is used to do that. So it makes sense.
What is even funnier is that Jake throws Reggie into the time machine like a football.
My knee has been thoroughly slapped!
At the last second, the brave turkeys make it to the time machine as the flames, of the flamethrowers, of the guards, of the military base, of the government of the United States of America spread behind them.
Emerging from the midst of chaos, we see a rush of colors as a clock ticks down the years till we reach 1621, the first Thanksgiving.
It is here where the non-believers might say, the first 10 minutes actually had some good jokes, but after that, it just became a generic children's movie. To them, I would say, I would have you, and the rest that agree with you, round up and slaughtered by the neck. If I could. The movie knows what it's doing, you idiots. And it actually makes a bunch of sense for many, many reasons.
First, the lack of funny jokes is due to the tonal shift. Now, this is the end of the freedom of turkeys. And rather than the happy bliss that is the current day turkey class that is in the movie, these turkeys know that their children, their children's children, their children's children's children, and so on, will live as slaves to be slaughtered if they do not win this war. And this is where I want to talk about how the turkeys are stand-ins for the Native Americans. Anyway, the second reason that this change in tone comes is because of something a little more metatextual.
In the story so far, the characters from modern day have gone back in time. This is obviously a metaphor. Obviously a metaphor. Commenting on the former state of the animated film industry from the late 2000s to the mid 2010s. And I know what you're gonna say. This movie was made in 2013. It can't be commentating about the former state of the animation industry. Again, you all are idiots.
It's 2013 in the movie, then that means the president is supposed to be an Obama lookalike, as is every presidential character in a TV show or movie during the time of his presidency.
Yeah, this is a Joe Biden lookalike. So this story is set in 2022. Also, do you not think that this movie is smart enough to speak about a topic years before it's relevant?
Anyway, our two adventurers search through the new world that they found themselves in, to only be attacked by our movie's main villain. All hope seems lost until they are saved by the old turkeys.
We are then introduced to female Reggie, our love interest, otherwise known as Amy Turkey, also known as Jenny.
We're also introduced to our two loser comic relief characters,
the stupid turkey and the Mexican stereotype turkey. Classic.
We go to the turkey hideout and meet Keith David Turkey, his true name being Chief Broadbeak. Jake also tells the turkey Native Americans his mission to go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
We quickly cut to the colonists, hungry and dying. It's interesting to see what we know as the allegorical upper class. In this bad situation, they see that the only way to rise out of despair is to bring down any other group. This is most exemplified by the character of a Standish, a mean cowboy guy from 1621, whose sole job is to hunt turkeys.
Back to the turkeys, they show Reggie, Jake, at the nursery. And Freebird's critiques and satires the brilliant trope of marketable baby characters in animated movies. Hilarious antics ensue, and even though this part of the movie is supposed to not be funny and have a serious tone, they can't help but throw in hilarious jokes and a well-choreographed dance scene.
That's right, a dance scene. Oh yeah, we've all been waiting for this.
Then, Reggie discovers he can use the time machine to go back home. This is where his inner conflict begins. He, while a traitor to his people, is still inherently a turkey, forever part of the less fortunate class. He has a chance to help liberate the turkeys, and this time, he isn't absolutely reviled by everyone. He has friends who care about him like Jake, or Jenny, or the Mexican stereotype. At the same time, he still has that selfish temptation to return to luxury.
He wants the best of both worlds. So he asks his girlfriend if she wants to come with him. Though Jenny also has that desire for luxury, which she tells Reggie her allegiance with her people is too strong.
A little heartbroken by his girlfriend's subtle rejection, Reggie meets back up with Jake and tries to belittle him as much as possible just to make him feel the slightest amount better for himself.
He questions the Great Turkey's existence, and Jake takes great offense to this. Their argument causes Jake to open up about his troubled past in an actual sad scene.
And after that, our turkeys begin to plot and enact their main plan. And it actually goes really well until Jake's bravery and lack of rationality, along with his desire for glory, leads him to steal a horn of gunpowder off Standish. The humans, led by Standish, find the turkeys and destroy their home. And in another heart-wrenching scene, Keith David Turkey dies. We then find our characters in their lowest moment. And in the most earth-shattering twist of the movie, we discover that Reggie's the Great Turkey!
This twist was so insane that it revived all the dinosaurs to continue the eon-long battle against the crystalloid race of the Katzuli. Just kidding, I got you there. The dinosaurs and Katzuli have been at peace for centuries.
Reggie enacts the prophecy, wonderfully wrapping up every plot line set up this far.
Well, not every.
Of course. Freebirds hasn't given up all their tricks just yet.
No, they have not.
Now, normally I wouldn't care for a time travel plot, but Freebirds just expertly utilizes the storytelling device in such an elegant and enthralling way.
We then go to the final battle between the turkeys and the pilgrims. And the pure emotional power of this moment causes two Native Americans to come over and mention how the turkeys are some angry birds.
Knee slap!
Of course, this joke comes from the
non-anachronistic
reference of the 2009 puzzle mobile game Angry Birds. The Native Americans have no idea what Angry Birds is. He is saying something that fits the context of a situation while simultaneously, unknowingly referencing to a future game for the audience.
And then there's the extra wrinkle to this, that the movie is inherently tied with the idea of time travel and different places in time, which the center point of the entire comedic backbone of this movie explores.
Brilliant is the only way I can describe it. Moving on from that, the battle commences, but the turkeys didn't take into account Standish's cannons, the only weapon strong enough to kill the turkeys.
When all hope seems lost, Reggie comes back in the time machine and sucks the cannons and our main villain into the time vortex left in the machine's wake, leaving Standish with a fate worse than death, being shattered throughout all time and space.
Reggie brings the pilgrims pizza to eat, and everyone, whether pilgrim, Native American, or turkey, chomps down on that sweet Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Our heroes then part ways. Reggie staying in 1621, and Jake leaving to seek more adventure.
And with that, that is the end of Freebirds.
Freebirds, marketed well, is the greatest movie about turkeys in the 21st century.
No! It's the greatest turkey movie ever made.
No! The greatest Thanksgiving movie.
No! The greatest movie ever made.
No. The greatest and most important piece of art in all of human history. I mean, this is the movie where they go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
It's interesting to think about how the genius, imaginative minds behind the Freebirds didn't know how influential the movie they were making would go on to be.
Thus is the burden and solitude of the trailblazer.
We have now finished explaining why Freebirds is a fantastic peace-bringing tool to end all world suffering. Yet still, one more question we need to ask. If
If Freebirds has the ability to solve world hunger, war, all suffering, and more, then why do we still live in a time with all these world problems?
You want to know why? Because those vile, money-hungry executives at Netflix tricked Jimmy Hayward and the other Freebird artists to give their movie to them.
Just as the snake tricks Eve into eating the fruit of knowledge in the Garden of Eden.
Those evil creatures hoarded the immense power of Freebirds for themselves, only to dump it into the garbage after it was done with it.
I'm glad that Netflix is dying. It is a fraction of what they deserve. I mean, they didn't even give the movie a last hurrah for the holidays. They dumped it in October! October! And we're sorry if this video doesn't come out before Thanksgiving, but if society can collectively be in the Christmas spirit at 12 a.m. on November 1st, if those maniacs that worship a grimy man that utilizes cheap labor of thousands and invades homes set up Christmas decorations in late September, if Netflix can smite down Freebirds while propagating countless corporate tacky Christmas movies to watch all year round, then I think we can extend the Thanksgiving spirit a few days past the time.
But wait, viewer. We can still go back in time to October 1st to get Freebirds back on Netflix. Not for them, but for the people. Protest to the sick company. Give them no choice but to listen. And yet I say again, we're gonna go back in time to October 1st to bring Freebirds back to Netflix. Justice for Freebirds.
Justice for Freebirds.
Well, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Justice for Freebirds.
Hey, I'm kind of hungry. Do you think we should order food?
I'm pretty hungry.
Sandwiches?
I'm feeling sandwiches. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hey, yeah, I'd like one turkey sandwich. Turkey sandwich. Turkey sandwich.
What did you just say?
What's that? What are you doing with that? Oh, please. Oh, no.
Say it again. What sandwich do you want?
I want it.
No. Freebirds!